as we look at the AFC South, weakest division of football. It's not even close. Anybody would argue that doesn't pay attention to football, or maybe anything else for that matter. But here I'm telling like it is. We're going to release some different days, but August 17th today, going to release AFC South because a lot goes into each one. The AFC South interconference plays the AFC West, which is the best division of football, so that's doomsday for them. Interconference, they play the NFC East, which isn't bad. They have their ups and their downs. The 17th game will be against the NFC North team. Of course, they have the 6 games in their division, which is their advantage, actually. And then, of course, they will have 2 more games with teams in the similar division, similar places in a division in their conference, and one out of conference. So that's how it really works. The football season is always a blast. AFC South, always fun. As you look at nice fresh little Titan logo there. Get to little over-unders first. Different across the league here. Obviously, someone like the Cleveland Browns with their over-under would be impossible, but we're not up to that yet. Looks like Deshaun's going to be out for a year here, so even after the first suspension was 6 games. So we'll have to wait and see actually what the number is, but that'd be an impossible one to pick. The Titans have had a little bit of a hold on this division for a little bit of a while there. You might remember that Bill O'Brien was just never good enough making the playoffs every year for the Texans, and they wanted him out, and this thing's a mess. I think that the Texans will probably benefit just by this being not as much of a mess in the offseason. Breaking away from the distractions, I think, is always good, although you miss a great player like Deshaun Watson. Over-unders, both the Titans and the Colts, if you saw our other over-under special there. 9.5 for the Colts and the Titans. Texans at 4.5. Jacksonville at 6.5. And the division's very, it's a have and a have-not division here. I think the Jacksonville Jaguars will maybe have a chance to go above that 6.5. I think the Texans might just win out of normalcy. I'm not saying that Mills is a great quarterback or that they have great things going ahead, but I think that just having the non-distractions and knowing who you are and knowing what you do and don't have as a coach is a tremendous option. So let's start out with the Titans. Obviously, the health of the big guy behind center is, Henry's a stud, obviously, but the body, that 5-year marker there, and he's right around there pretty much, starts to take a toll. You look at the Eddie Georges of the world, the Terrell Davises of the world, starts to take a toll on you. Only Adrian Peterson or a guy like Emmitt Smith who are freaks. They lasted obviously a lot longer. Walter Payton, guys like that. But, Tennessee, everybody overrated Tannehill. He had some good moments, but everybody overrated him. You overpaid him. And now here you are looking at the same question you would have had 3 or 4 years ago. Is Tannehill good enough? Well, it depends how he plays on any given day. And fans think that's an easy answer. Well, it really does depend on any given day. They got to go out and get him a couple more weapons. And, of course, the play calling has to start and end with Mr. Henry, who's a stud. Love the stiff arms, by the way, but just incredible. Colts with a total new look. Matty Ice this year. Hopefully Matty Ice has enough left in the tank. I like the fact that his coach, Frank Reich, is very creative. Very disappointed in their playing last year, though. I have to say, I thought they'd be a little bit better, but didn't work out with the former Philly QB there. And they jettisoned him out of that starting lineup, basically. And now you got Matty Ice in there, and everybody's predicting the Colts. It seems to be the hot pick. They do have a little bit of an easier schedule. It's a little bit of the hot pick, so you can't blame people for predicting that. But if you look here at the Titans' schedule here, obviously you got the 6 in the division there. But then you got the Bengals at home. Very tough game. Dallas at home, Denver at home, Raiders at home, Giants at home. Got to get that Giant game, obviously, and that's where they start the year. Sorry, Giant fans here in New York. I mean, if they hear me say that, they'll jump off the bridge. Away, they got obviously in that division, but then you got the Bills away. That is just brutal. Green Bay Packers away, Chiefs away, Chargers away, Eagles, and Washington football team. Now, for the Titans to have any kind of success, they need to take care of business in a division. If one of these 2 teams between Indianapolis and Tennessee goes 5-1 in their division, obviously they're going to set the world on fire. And that's how they do it. But the rest of the Titans' schedule is brutal. They would have to find a way to take care of that NFC East and try to get some definite wins out of the teams in their own division, which is, like we just said, 5-1 would be great. But then if you look at that schedule, it's just brutal. You got to find 3 wins out of it. You got to get Washington, who's not going to be good. Philly, the Redskins, by the way. Philly, stay slept. Philly, who's not going to be good. and the Giants, who we'll see if they're going to be good. So you'd have to at least try to find a way to scratch out 8 wins there, but 8 wins might not do it. Now you got to hope along the way there if you're the Titans that basically you can find a game there and maybe beat somebody at home like the Raiders or the Broncos. I mean, gonna be very tough. Or maybe the Cowboys. Cowboys is so up and down. You never know what you're gonna get. Colts schedule's a little bit easier. Obviously, the same cast of characters in the division, but then you got the Chiefs at home, Chargers at home, Eagles at home. Got to get that one. Steelers at home. That's gonna be a fun game, and the Deadskins are at home. Away, same cast of characters. Cowboys. My Vikings, by the way. Minnesota Vikings today. Vikings on here. Got my Viking hand. We're ready to go. Expecting good things this year from the Vikes. Extra playoff spot shouldn't hurt either. And we don't have Zimmer running the clock, but Brad Childress sucked on the clock too. So maybe we get a guy who can run the clock for a change. Worst clock management. And it's funny, on my podcast, been talking about that for years, Viking podcast. And then they come up with the stat a couple of weeks ago that the Vikings have given up, I think they're more points in the last 2 minutes of the half in the game than any other team in the last 5 years. And, some of us been bitching about that way ahead of time, but hopefully I'm rusty to catch up. So the Colts got to find a way to get that. And then away, they got the Patriots, they got the Giants, people of that nature. So that's going to be interesting. See how they do that. Colts, I have to say, would be the favorite. We're looking at that schedule. Texans schedule, same cast of characters. And they get the Browns, the Chiefs, the Chargers, Eagles, and the Deadskins. Then they got the Giants, the Dolphins, the Raiders, the Broncos, Dallas, and the Bears. So Texans, like I said, could benefit from a couple of things there. Got to see how Doug Peterson does with Jacksonville. I'm sure that thing will be interesting to watch. The over-unders on their games will be fun to watch. If you look at it, Jacksonville Jaguars, Peterson's very creative. Got to see if Lawrence steps up. I got news for you. A lot of other teams, Lawrence would have been ripped last year, but thank God Jacksonville's right now is not a really prominent franchise, obviously, or else he would have been crushed. I mean, 12-17 on the interceptions and touchdowns. If Kirk Cousins did that, I mean, good God, there'd be a riot in Minnesota. Well, but if you look at those schedules there, that's pretty much where they're at. The AFC predictions here, AFC South predictions. If you look, like I said, a lot of people on the betting lines talk about the Colts going 13-4. I don't see it. I don't see 13-4. I see 11-6, 12-5. Titans 8-9. Jacksonville's prediction is 5-12. Texans 3-14. So basically, they're telling you to go 3 of these teams under with the wins and losses. And basically what they're telling you is to go over with the Colts. I would go over with the Colts. I'm just not sure that the Titans are going to be 8-9. I just don't see it. Like I said, Matt Ryan over there with the Colts, I think that's going to help. We got to see if Henry's there, but Tannehill's got to step up. A.J. Brown during the offseason, Robert Woods, Westbrook, Des Fitzpatrick as their primary receivers. Jacksonville with Peterson, we got to see they've gotten some great pickups on defense. And like I said, Texans, going to have a tough time, but I think it's going to be a pleasure if you're the Texan coaching staff to at least know that you get to go to work every week and who you have and who you don't have. And I think that's important. But getting back to some other things here, here in New York, I mean, it's the birth of sports radio was WFAN here, but just a couple of things listening to some of the teams around. One of my guys who was a great producer of the Mike and the Mad Dog show, Mark Malusis, who I love, in the summer he's filling in, and his show with Maggie didn't work out. Maggie's just, that's like the Titanic being hooked to your leg. She was just brutal. I said when they had that 10 o'clock show, that was the worst show I'd ever heard on WFAN, and I was shown right. They were shown the door pretty quick, thank God. Although, Bart wasn't better with Chris Collin much later in the day himself, but that one got shown the door. CMB, whatever the hell they call him. But the thing is, I don't think Moose is good by himself. I love him as a producer. I root for him. I love his NFL show with David Deal on Sunday mornings. But when he tries to get mad or tries to act intense, he just doesn't have the ability to do it. He can't get on a rant. His rants make me want to laugh, and I know he's not trying to get me to laugh. So you'll be driving, and I just don't feel it. I had to say this on the podcast. Like I said, I root for this guy. You New Yorkers know who I'm talking about, and I like him. And I love his NFL show. Him and David Deal do a great job. But when he tries to go off and sound tough or angry, he just can't do it. He's got to be the straight man, I think, for the rest of his career. Like I said, he was a great producer of Mike and Mad Dog. Thank him for that all the time. But just as a side note, I digress. It is my show. I can do whatever I want. By the way, Spotify is really taking off. I want to thank you guys for that. And obviously, we're on other things, Apple Anchor, all different kinds of things, Twitter, Facebook. and things of that nature. But the thing here is this AFC South. I said I have to pick the Colts first. Obviously, Texans last. I'm not really going on the limb there. Titans would be second for me. Jacksonville would obviously be third. I think I said I think Jacksonville, with their schedule, can maybe get a couple more W's. Maybe they could fight. They got to win at least 2 or 3 games in that division. You can't have a disastrous 1-5. I think Jacksonville might fall right between the number of 6.5, and you're stuck between that 6 and the 7 line. I think they'll be better, but I'm not sure if they're going to be good enough. The thing is, what do you do if you're this team? I mean, you're in a division here where I think it's going to flip as soon as, Henry's getting older by the minute. Matt Ryan's not a young team. I think the Jacksonville Jaguars got to be patient, and they can have at it soon enough. But again, it's just basically a little look at the AFC South here on Tell It Like It Is. Get forward here with NFL, having some fun. What division will do next? Maybe I'll do the NFC least. I think my Giant fans out there will be a little pissed off about that. But the football season right around the corner. We're all pretty pumped up about that. Very excited. And talking to you down the road. This is Scholler on Telling It Like It Is. And I want to thank you for coming. That's it. Take care.